Made it out to UMC for Wide Open Wednesday. Or I guess they're trying to rebrand it as Amateur Track Days. I don't know. Maybe this has happened a couple years ago and I just haven't paid attention enough. But I haven't been for a while, at least not with this new kind of format they had. And the last couple times I've been out, it's just for literally autocross, none of the track things. Single lap things I think are great. I think especially for guys to get a taste of the action, and they don't really have to do much to their car to make it around. But it's kind of just not enough for me. I'm kind of like a hardcore alcoholic versus somebody who never drinks. They just have a sip of a beer and they get that buzz. And I'm one of those guys that have to straight, drink Jack Daniels right from the bottle to get it, any kind of little buzz going on. So yeah, the single track thing, not really my cup of tea. I did the autocross mainly for friends because we can play around and kind of compete against each other. It's kind of fun. But the Wild Plus from back in the day, didn't really care for that too much. I mean, I've got, for somebody who didn't care about it too much, I've sure done it at all. But just the huge spectrum of speed that you go in with. You have guys who are first time ever even seeing a racetrack. They've only used their car to commute to work, going to the track. And then you got people like me who've been many, I don't even know how many track days and autocross days I've done. I literally couldn't count. Show up, and then we have kind of this conflict where I'm fast, they're slow. So if I get 2-3 laps in that are good, and then the rest of the time I'm just kind of cruising around. And that's just how it works out. It's just, they have passing restrictions for obvious safety reasons. And yeah, so when I saw this whole UMC has this new format with advanced group track laps, it really caught my attention. I won't lie, caught my attention. I thought, that's a great idea. Separate the real newbies from the advanced guys, and you could both have fun. I'd missed the NASA opening weekend because some family members decided to visit, so I ended up missing out. And I didn't have any tires anyways. I don't have any new tires in, so I just had some old summer tires kicking around, some 320, 340 treadwear tires that had enough tread on them, mounted them on some rims, slapped them on the car, and headed out. See what this new format's all about. And 50 minutes for $75. God damn, that is a good deal. That's like Blue Light Special, Walmart blowout special, half price. You cannot complain about the money for these amateur track days. That's unreal cheap. Unreal. Shocked at how cheap that was. So I entered both. I thought it was a little. One part I did think was 50 minutes. You don't see that too often, and main reason is 50 minutes is a lot of time. Most cars, let's face it, unless you got some specialty high performance car that's literally designed to do this stuff, will last 50 minutes straight. Most cars, they'll go into limp mode at 30 minutes. And average street tire, only good for 3-4 laps. I mean, anything more than that, and you're going to be losing 1 to 2 seconds a lap continuously, lap after lap after lap, until the tire bottoms out and just turns to a pile of goo, and you're just shredding and leaving rubber everywhere on the track, and shorten lifespan of your tire by a couple years. So that I thought was a long time, but I thought, it could be good because you go in, go out, come in. If you go there at the friend, you can go out, track around, come back in, talk. As you can see from what you've seen in this video in the first 4 minutes is, it was pretty open. There was 5 people in the first session and 4 people in the second session. And you could do whatever, you could go as fast as you want. There was no ifs and buts or problems or anything out there. It was wide open. So I just do 3-4 lap sprints, come in, and and let the car cool off and then go back out and come back in. I'd watch my phone to keep track of time, and it was like it was a never-ending session, because like every time, it's probably about done, I'd look at the I have plenty of time to go back out. I just kept going in and out, in and out. Yeah, it was great. The only problem I didn't like about UMC's little thing was just there wasn't really anybody for me to play with. Poor, sad me. I was kind of thinking that maybe some NASA guys would show up or something. And nah, most everybody I talked to, it just were guys who'd come up through the system, done the Wide Open Wednesday single lap stuff and did enough of them, and then advanced up to doing the lap stuff. So yeah, it wasn't really anybody for me to play with. But that, literally, if that's your biggest complaint, it's pretty good night. Yeah, especially for the money. It's literally half price. And made me start thinking that if UMC did this, Utah Motorsports Campus, back when I started, would I have stayed doing kind of Wide Open Wednesdays more instead of jumping to NASA, SCCA, and all that stuff? And the answer is I probably would have stayed doing this for maybe a year or two longer and then jump, or who knows. But honestly, this format was so good that it made me start thinking about, like, what are the benefits and perks of both? And to be honest, I kind of broke it down in my head, as in, if you're a guy who has a badass car and you're like ripping around, you like to take canyon roads, but you're scared of hitting animals, bicyclists, or going off cliffs, or hitting trees or rocks, man, this is great because you can have fun. There's not any trees to hit, no cliffs to drive off. There's a tow truck there, fire truck even, and yeah, it's all good. But I still think NASA has a lot to offer people. If you want to be the baddest of the bad, if you want to really improve your driving skills, NASA, even though it costs a little more money, just the environment, and also you're driving with a bunch of people that are faster than you. That's one good thing about it, is if you want to improve quick, you got to hang out with quicker guys. That's just how it works. Yeah, that's the fastest way to learn. Most people cut their fastest laps being a chaser, meaning having a car in front of you that you're trying to suck it up, meaning you're trying to decrease the gap and catch them, and you will push harder. And versus also the other way, where there's a car that's gotten by you and you're trying to hang on to it as they're leaving you, you will push yourself further and further and faster and faster. And it's a win-win kind of thing. Your learning curve goes up exponentially, because most people, they're faster chasing than they are leading. I don't know how many times I've had guys chase me down, I've let them by, and they can't go anywhere. Like, they immediately start making mistakes. They can't do it. It's funny. And then they'll let me repass them, and then they'll stay with me the whole time, which is like funny but it's just a mental thing. I mean, let's face it, you can't do like 5 pull-ups, 42 push-ups, and then you'll be a faster driver. It has really no bearance on anything. It's all 100% mental. And yeah, that's where I think NASA is really good with the whole HPDEs, which if you have a street car, that's what you do, or even a race car. And you work your way up that way with level 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once you hit level 4, I mean, they're throwing you in with time trial groups running. And those boys are fast, and they're going for times, like in a competition, and you're stuck in the middle of it. So you will definitely, for sure, be able to gauge yourself if you're good or bad or whatever. Because that's one thing I noticed is UMC, you wouldn't be able to gauge yourself. I mean, unless some racers showed up that you could run with. For the most part, you're just running with other guys who are pretty much in your ballpark speed-wise. And where NASA, there's always somebody faster, and even besides skill, we're talking cars. I mean, yeah, there's some serious there's some serious hardware out at a NASA race weekend. Um, Way faster than whatever you got. I don't care what you have. Unless you're like watching this and you're like, I got a Bugatti Veyron or a McLaren 765 LT or something like that level. Shoot, I remember I showed up at one NASA race and the guy shows up with the AMG GTR Mercedes, and I was like, are you kidding me? He's in with me? And yeah, I got by him. Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, he got better with time, and later in the year, I couldn't catch up anymore. But so, yeah, I think NASA really still does have that. If you want to be the best, if you really want to increase and just like I want to be the fastest I can be, go that route. But if you're just like, I just like my cars and I just like not having anything to hit and everybody's driving in the same direction and there's no traffic, that's all I want to do, then, man, UMC has got it made. I think for sure I'd do it more often. I'm definitely going to try dragging people out there with me. Some of my friends that have done a bunch of the single lap stuff, have done the autocross, bring them out there and do this stuff to kind of break them in slowly to it, because it is kind of a low pressure situation. You go fast, you slow down, it's no big freaking deal. You got plenty of track. Whereas in a NASA, I mean, they have a limit to only 20 cars. That's not very many cars. I mean, you show up to like a Friday practice at a NASA event and you're HPDE level 4, which is an advanced driver. I mean, you're up there. You can be an instructor at that point. And you're stuck with, they combine all the TT groups, TT 6 through 1, and all the HPD4 guys all on the track at the same time when they do like the outer loop or the full course. And that's like 50 cars. That's like rush hour traffic at 120 miles an hour. That will get your blood pumping in a big way. In fact, driving on the track will never be the same again after that. I got stories for days about that stuff. So yeah, you need to come out and do it. If you're on the fence about trying it, I definitely would try it. You can't really go wrong. It's worth the money. But hey, if you're doing this stuff already and you're just like, want to know, is it worth my time to go up to NASA? Well, it depends. How good of a driver do you want to be? If it is important to you, for sure, definitely go the NASA route. Costs a little bit of more money, but one thing about NASA events is when you're out there in your session, it's balls to the wall 100% of the time. You're pushing literally from the time they let you out to the time you pull off the track. There is no cruise around time, as they say, except for doing the cool off lap. So in that regards, go to NASA rate. And also plus, it's cooler, part of a racing organization. You get to see all the cool cars, the cool hardware, and really about how much money people have to spend, free money that people will definitely burn at a racetrack. It definitely always surprises me and shocks other people who aren't in the cars how much money is spent out there. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks.